feel it. Feel the carbs. I'm craving a burrito with some nice carbs. Okay. My burrito just happened, folks. That was what I feel like. Hey guys, I'm Abbey. Welcome to Abbey's Kitchen. If you tuned in last week, I was talking about the new hot Netflix documentary, The Magic Pill, and I was talking a little bit about some of the things that I thought that they got right. Sometimes it was really dramatized, but at least the concepts were there. So if you missed that video, you can check it out right here. So today, I'm gonna talk a little bit about some things that I think the documentary got really wrong. And I got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Claim number one, early humans only ate meat and fat. Let's take a look.
We have the brains that we do because of the enormous amount of fat that we consume as a species throughout our evolutionary history. Suddenly now we're eating a carbohydrate-based diet. And in the last 13 or so generations, since this thing called the Industrial Revolution, this has just gone down a slippery slope.
You are the oldest culture on earth. Is the Yunga culture. 40,000 years. So anybody that has a go at us, don't talk to us unless you've got 40,000 years of research.
So much like things like the paleo diet, the documentary makes the claim that the keto diet was the way that our ancestors used to eat. In reality, based on archeological and anthropological data, carbs were an integral part of the growth of the human brain for the last million years. Basically, carbs made the world go round. Our ancestors probably ate a lot of carbs, mainly in the form of tubers, seeds, and some nuts and fruits. So to say that carbs are new to the game is definitely not true. Maybe refined carbohydrates, but not carbs, period. Cool fact time! So studies have found that meat may have kickstarted the evolution of larger brains. However, starchy foods actually made us smarter by providing our brain with glucose to think. I am really craving some bread right now. Carbs. Claim 2, some really confusing messages about processed foods. Let's take a look at some of the most cringe-worthy quotes.
Years ago, there was a commercial for a particular margarine.
That's not margarine, that's my sweet creamy butter.
This woman, who actually turned out to be Mother Nature, tasted it, and she said, "It's not nice to fool Mother Nature," and made lightning happen and thunder. The fact is that processed food is not natural. That's trying to fool Mother Nature.
Should I get the trash bag out? Probably.
We should be eating the foods that nature provides, not that are scientized, not that factories provide.
And this little nugget.
Vegetable oils are toxic. They're industrial oils. They are foods that we could not have manufactured until the industrial era. There are seeds that have oil in them, but that don't release their oil readily, so you have to use high heat and solvents to do so.
I hate the whole toxic thing. First of all, let's talk about this whole processed thing that they're demonizing and seeing it as so toxic. So the majority of our foods are processed, and that is okay, because there's a huge difference between processed foods and ultra-processed foods. Have you ever bought milk from the grocery store? Yeah, that's a processed food. It didn't just make its way out of the cow's udder and then arrive magically at your door. In a lot of cases, processing can make our foods healthier and safer. This documentary demonizes processed foods as toxic. However, there's a lot of really healthy processed foods that can easily fit into a healthy, balanced diet. Meanwhile, they are pushing tons of coconut oil and cheese and bacon. These are all processed foods. In fact, I would put bacon into the ultra-processed category, yet they are all for all the bacon in this diet. So I would say that this documentary really needs to either refine its language or refine its recommendations. Maybe a bit of both. Claim number 3, all carbs are bad. So for a while now, carbs have been demonized as the enemy, and this documentary definitely drives that point home. So let's take a look at some quotes.
Perfect, get rid of it.
Bread and other grain-related products are really worrisome, A, because of their gluten issue, but most importantly because of their carbohydrate content.
I don't even know if we need to say anything about this.
Yeah.
Just no. Okay.
I call wheat the perfect obesogen.
food perfectly crafted to make you fat. Wheat is in all frozen dinners, all breakfast cereals, taco seasoning mixes, instant soup mixes, canned soup, salad dressings. In other words, of the 60,000 products in the average supermarket today, 59,000 have wheat.
Okay, so when I think of carbs, I actually think of fiber. Fiber helps us feel fuller longer, helps us manage our weight, reduce cholesterol, promote regularity, and so on and so forth. Conveniently, fiber and even things like the difference between refined and unrefined carbs are not really talked about in this documentary. A systematic review of the literature actually found that consuming lots of whole grains, like wheat, which this documentary seems to be really hating on with all the wheat talk, can actually help to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease and even cancer. The bottom line is this documentary spends a lot of time hating on all the carbs and not talking about the fact that not all carbs are created equal, and some carbs actually have significant health benefits. Claim 4, eat more animal foods instead of plant-based foods. So in this documentary, they kind of call for a complete overhaul of the food pyramid, where they're suggesting you should eat more fats and animal products and less fruits, vegetables, and other carbohydrates like whole grains. So at one point in the documentary, they actually show the base of the food pyramid with a burger with a fried egg and bacon on top. And I just think it's really ironic that they're trying to use a processed food like bacon in order to make their point. Sounds a little bit like mixed messages to me.
Grains, carbohydrates, really has to be up in the tip. And then below that are fruits and vegetables. And then, the big bottom slab really has to be fats and animal foods. That is actually what a healthy diet looks like.
Yes, that is what a healthy diet looks like. Bacon, egg, burger, hangover food. Amazing. So I may eat meat, but I definitely see the value in eating a lot more plant-based foods from an environmental perspective. Also, the research has shown a lot of benefits of eating plant-based foods or like a Mediterranean diet, which is based around lots of whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. So my advice to you, if you're going to do the keto diet, is to make sure that you've got a good balance of animal-based proteins and plant-based proteins, and that of course you're loading up on the low-carb veggies. Claim number 5, animal proteins should be the sole source of protein. So this documentary, and really the keto diet in general, makes a claim that you should ditch all your plant-based proteins like legumes and peas and chickpeas and beans, and instead get your protein fix exclusively from meat. Let's take a look.
Check it out. Yeah, buddy.
It's a lot of meat.
I've got hamburger, I've
a lot
got
of meat.
T-bone steaks, porterhouse steaks, I've got liver. I didn't like it as a kid, but I thought came with the cow, so I'm gonna see what we can do with it.
So like I said before, plant-based foods have cholesterol-lowering benefits, which obviously makes them super heart healthy. This is not to say that you want to avoid meat necessarily, but having some meatless Mondays and switching things up between plant-based proteins and animal proteins is potentially a really good thing. Plus, I would say that the carbohydrate load in something like beans or chickpeas or legumes or lentils is not that much of a big deal. I mean, we're looking at about 45 grams of carbs, 12 impressive grams of fiber, 15 grams of protein in just about 270 calories. No, it is not hardcore keto diet friendly, but it's really not a big deal. And number 6, food as the magic pill. So I am all for a food first philosophy, but I think that the magic pill takes us a little bit too far. So let's meet some of the participants here who have come off of their medication after going on the keto diet.
This is levothyroxine. I take one a day for my thyroid. This is atorvastatin. It's for my high cholesterol. This is fenofibric, tizanidine, duloxetine. I take that for anxiety. Hydrocodone, cyclobenzaprine, gabapentin tablets that's supposed to make your brain process pain in a different way.
This stuff's pretty mild compared to this stuff. This is called Onfi. This stuff here it's over $1,000 a bottle. My insurance covers 70%, so I get the joy of only paying over $300 a month just for this stuff.
Okay, so basically a lot of the people in this documentary have been able to get off medication altogether after taking on a ketogenic diet, which is great. And yes, we know that food plays such an important part in our health, But the documentary really makes the claim that food is the problem and the solution exclusively, when we actually know that it's so much more complicated than that. It always comes down to things like genetic factors, lifestyle factors. Are you smoking? Are you drinking? Are you exercising? Are you doing all of those different kinds of things? It is so much more multifaceted than just the food. Sometimes medications or other interventions are the only solution or are an essential part of the solution. So suggesting that you can just go off medication and eat a certain way is potentially dangerous, even deadly advice. So the magic pill definitely did get some things right when it comes to the keto diet, but there's a lot of information and research that they omitted to support their case. I think we need a lot more research to say with confidence that the keto diet is the magic pill for all of these supposed illnesses. So I definitely think that the keto diet has some merits, especially in clinical settings. However, it's not without its risks and it may not be good for everyone. As always, the best, healthiest diet is the one that you can stick to in the long run. And you have to find something that works for you, not necessarily something that just works for somebody in a film. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it the thumbs up. Leave me a comment below with your thoughts on this documentary or the keto diet in general. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye!